In this chapter of Dandadan, the secret to the hardest erections you've ever wanted are uncovered. But not only that, this chapter of Dandadan is seriously peak. Like, not even kidding. I think this may be one of the best chapters in recent memory just because the action was off the charts. I think this arc, if it stays focused on Seiko, has potential to be one of the all-time best arcs of Dandadan, at least the most unique, and that's saying quite a bit. So, let's jump into the chapter. I challenge you, let's get this video hot. Last video got 1,754 likes. Let's go for 1,760 likes. That's just 6 more. And I challenge you to see if we can get 25 subscribers with this video. Let's go for it. So this chapter picks up from the last. We get Payase and Kashimoto squaring off against the Zhengshi and the Iron Bull. Now this was a rad shot of the two as they are stared down. It looks like a war was about to be waged. Well, a war was waged on this day, but Payase in his super awesome yokai form checks on Seiko, and hey, I gotta admit it, Seiko had some pretty awesome lines in this chapter, some of her funnier ones too. This is one of them. She says that the way she feels is like she went to one of the world's worst osteopathy clinics. Now, I don't know what the hell this is, so I did some research and I got this from NHS UK's website. No, I'm not British, but you know, who knows. Osteopathy is based on the principle that the well-being of an individual depends on their bones, muscles, ligaments, and connective tissue functioning smoothly together. Osteopaths use physical manipulation, stretching, and massage with the aim of increasing the mobility of joints and relieving muscle tension. So basically, it's like, I guess, a kind of therapy for women and men who need to rehab their joints, muscles, or are in simple need of relief due to some other issues, probably from surgery, complications, or rehab itself, which is a nice detail in this joke because this is probably what a lot of senior citizens have to go to get relief from their old achy bones, surgeries, or other complications of, I don't know, living for 80 freaking years. Basically, Seiko is old, even though she looks like she's 30. Also, gentlemen, are you seeing what I am seeing here? Look at Seiko. Holy crap, y'all. If I were a 12-year-old and seeing this for the first time, I think she would be as cool as Goku. Seriously, my favorite thing in life, not even just anime, is just seeing characters battle damage and Seiko looking like the most badass barista ever. Now, I'm not gonna lie, if push comes to shove and they come out with a figure of her like this, yeah, I think I'm picking this one up. But relaying the info on how the Iron Bull works to the others, the Iron Bull responds by basically saying that they're just fine opponents, which is also another favorite trope of mine. Love it when villains love to fight. Maybe that's just the DBZ in me coming out. Who knows? Either way, Iron Bull's groin is getting hot and bothered, and he needs his sweet release. So as the battle gets underway, the goal is simple. Make way so that Seiko can get to her bag. So Kashimoto begins by using this awesome flame ability called Afumzaha. And with it, we get this incredible spread from Tatsu and his team of Kashimoto, essentially using a fist of fire to punch a group of the Zhengshi, disintegrating them even. Now, I gotta highlight this comment from Vicious Spiegel over on the Reddits. They say that this attack is a reference to Lovecraft's Afumzaha called Cold Flame. Basically, this is how it goes, and I don't know how to pronounce any of these, but I'm gonna put up the text here. Spawned by Cthulhu, Afumzaha's rise to godhood in Hyperborea led to rivalries with Juan Tegoth and Rilim Shaikorth, which the Elder Gods sought to end. Their attempt to subdue Afumzaha backfired spectacularly as its fury froze vast regions and birthed the North Pole. Now, either way, this is a really cool reference to have in Dandadan, and does this mean that at some point Cthulhu will be involved in this story or other Lovecraftian horrors? Honestly, this may bear some more research and theory crafting, because if this is being referenced, then this could open up some Dandadan to a whole new world, a whole other level of bonkery. We'll just have to see. We also get this great shot of Seiko calling for Payase to cover her as we see him use his abilities, which also allows himself to be cloaked in darkness and then sweep away the darkness. His words. Basically, he kills these fools dead. And what's most interesting is Payase describes his body as a Kodaku curse poison. Now, doing a bit of research, I came upon this explanation from Wikipedia. To create Kodaku, sorcerers users would mix several insects into a jar and let them kill one another only until one survived. The fluids of the insect that survived would be used to poison an individual with a curse that would control them, cause them misfortune, or kill them. So this could mean that since Paise's form is like this, is he being cursed with misfortune or controlled by the shadow yokai from within? If so, what did Paise hope to achieve by gaining the powers of this yokai? If anything, I think this suggests once we learn more about Paise that maybe he did this for a very good reason. Maybe to save someone or maybe for something else, but I think he will have a big backstory revealing just how he came to control these powers and obviously what they are too, but I don't know. I have a feeling it's not going to be a happy backstory, but are any really backstories in anime positive or happy? Speaking of not happy or happy, it depends on if you're a a dong half full or a dong half empty kind of bull. Paise's darkness needle attack wouldn't even budge the bull's junk, and bro, he even comments on how really hard he is. Now think about that. A boner so powerful, not even darkness itself could pierce it. So the bull literally picks up Paise and punches him out of the darkness. You know, this also got me thinking, is this power like the symbiote from Tom Hardy's beloved Venom Gonna Get Him Venom movie franchise? I mean, the fact he was punched out of it gave me that vibe. So Seiko and Kashimoto run in for the save and unison attack the bull. Kashi first with his flame punch and then follows up, and then Seiko second, who slips past the bull. But Kashi drops his guard, which allows the bull to counterattack. And let me tell you, this bull is a glutton for punishment because he wants to be hit even more, even harder. Seiko, however, seeing the bag, she needs it and gets Paise to cover for her, and she runs for it. And she gets close, running through the pierced Zhongshi as Paise land sharks himself through the ground, creating spikes wherever a shadow appears. Really cool. Seiko even makes an incredible jump that, okay, y'all, they gave Seiko a dump truck. Jesus Christ, I am in tears. But just as she is grabbed, she is, well, kicked really freaking hard by the bull. And while his dumbass is dumb, he's not stupid. He saw what Seiko was trying to achieve and suspicious, he stopped Seiko. But Kashi returns with a vengeance as he is simply swatted away with a punch. And just as the bull goes to grab the bag, Paise interjects, but he too is crushed. However, this gives enough time for Seiko to jump for the bag, only to be caught in a deadly bear hug by the bull. I also gotta say, the dialogue from this bull was simply perfection. Dude, I have never laughed so hard in my life. I think, oh my God, this is the quote, "I have now reached a state of ultimate hot." That's like the Deep in the Boys saying he, quote, accepts responsibility for racism. I mean, there is just so much to unpack by saying you have achieved ultimate hotness. But now, with Seiko caught, he threatens to crush her unless she accepts defeat, which is a reminder that, like Count Saint Germain and Koki, their goals are to take the powers of the Dum-de-Dums. So it is of utmost importance she does not yield. Thankfully, she doesn't. Kashi doesn't, as if planned. He launches into another attack, but with a twist. Instead of the attack making the bull stronger, in reality, it made him weaker as Paise then comes in and breaks the arms of the bull. Now, I can't believe I did not see this at all because it is so obvious in hindsight, but they essentially heated up the iron and then super cooled it to make it shatter. Well, they made it brittle. But how? Kashi's flames are, well, that's the cool part, literally. Kashi's flames aren't just hot, they're cold too. They can burn at absolute zero. After all, heat and cold basically are on a spectrum. They're two sides of the same coin. So it's a little weird to wrap your head around it, but I think that's the idea behind it. Any scientists in the comments, break down how the science works. I don't know if there's any science behind this, but yeah, go ahead. I think this ability has the chance to be really OP, just like Paise's yokai as well. So the use case for hot and cold flame is just, it's so useful, so flexible that I could see it being used a lot later in the series or a lot in this arc, especially if the two are able to stick around. But yeah, heat up a hammer, cool it down really quick, and hit something really hard. Iron shatters, no matter how hard it may be. Actually, don't try that at home, kids. Don't want to get sued. Either way, Seiko gets back up, calls the bull a Blink-182 song, dickweed, and honestly, he is a dump. He is a fucking nightmare. And we see Oh my god. We see something that drove the simps wild. Seiko picks up a ward, calls the bull a son of a bitch because she hadn't been beaten in a fight that bad in a while, and places it on his head as it pleads with Seiko to not go through with it, and is about to say who is actually after them too, but Seiko cuts it short by giving him the look and then telling him to take on a god as she punishes his face in with her kick in an insanely detailed and awesome spread. Oh my god, Seiko is so cool. I love her. I'm also incredibly surprised at the restraint from Tatsu to not draw her upskirt, considering he had a good opportunity to do it here and he's done it plenty times before. I appreciate that though. I never enjoyed the fan service much from Dandadan, honestly. But this chapter was awesome, and I have a couple questions coming out of it. Now that we know the bull wasn't the one behind this, it puts into perspective that these guys were likely recruited to go after Seiko. So this means someone out there knows about Seiko and she and her family are actively being targeted by this group. Though it was frustrating that moments before it could have been revealed Seiko leveled this guy. But hey, I'm fine with that. I just don't want this arc to end because I think Seiko's arc has so far been really damn great, and I hope with all that is holy we focus more on Seiko like this. I absolutely think her character is ripe for interesting storytelling, especially with Turbo Granny gone. We may be able to get more into how she herself thinks about these things. It also has the potential to expose a more tender side of Seiko we don't see often. She's stoic for Momo, but how does she really feel behind all of that when it is just her at the end of the day? That's the real question, and I am here for it. So I'm toasting this gamer subs to you, Granny Seiko, you old biddy, you old hag, you old baddie with hips like dust, you old gray-haired